Welcome to the fourth season of the Insiders Career Club podcast. We share career tips and advice from industry experts and me, your career insider, sharing how we achieved career success. Did you know that FeedSpot ranked the Insiders Career Club podcast in the top 25 as one of the best job search podcasts from thousands of listeners, social media, and professionals? But we're more than job search. We're all about helping you have a meaningful career. It's Sindy Thomas, your career insider. You know me as an HR career professional in talent acquisition with a career spanning over 25 years. Are you looking for work or recently laid off? Don't just look for your dream job. Dream jobs come and go. I want to be your career coach throughout your career. Let's work together to find you your dream career. And if you need help with your job search for resume writing or practicing your interview skills, career planning, or if you need to make a career transition, work with me. I can help you. Schedule a free discovery call at www.insiderscareerclub.com. Now, coming up next is a Dynamite podcast. Stay tuned. Hey there, insiders. It's your career insider, Sindy Thomas. Our guest today will appeal to both students as well as their parents. It's Shellee Howard. She's the founder of the College Ready Plan, and she's a certified independent college strategist and counselor. She helps middle and high school students as well as their parents by preparing them for the college admissions process, to help them create a standout strategy to get into their best fit college without going into debt, and even how to succeed once admitted. Let's welcome her into the show.
Shellee, good morning. Welcome to the Insiders Career Club podcast. How are you today?
Outstanding. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to having you share about your business, the College Ready Plan. So before we get there, though, I want you to share a little bit about yourself with the listeners, where you grew up, and a little bit about your family life.
You got it. So I am actually a fifth generation from Southern California. I'm one of the rare few. And I had the opportunity to grow up in Laguna Beach, California, a very small beach community. And I have a huge passion for traveling the world. So I come from a small place, but have a very global outlook.
Okay.
I was the first to go to college on both sides of my family, and I did it all wrong. And that's what led me to making a bigger impact and helping my children navigate the process, which started 17 years ago. I now have a 29-year-old son, a 25-year-old daughter. I have a 21-year-old stepson and a 20-year-old stepdaughter.
Wow.
So I have a blended family.
Sounds nice. Wonderful. So tell us about making the decision to study to become a certified independent college strategist. I had to get that out right. I had to read it to get it out right.
You got it. So it really all started, my oldest, he came home from 8th grade and he's like, Mom, I know exactly what I want to do and exactly where I want to go to college. And I'm like, wow. Because like I said, I did it all wrong. And he said very matter of factly, I want to go to one of those top colleges and I want to be a brain surgeon. Can you help me? And yeah, that's what I said. Oh, of course I can help you, honey. I'm Mom, right? And he walked away and I had, a little bit of a panic. And so I sought all the information I could find. But remember, this is back in 2008. This is the very beginning of what we know to be Google and the craziness of information.
True enough, yes.
I took him to his high school counselor and she, bless her heart, was very overworked and said, you know what? He is a great young man. He's going to be fine. Just let him be. And I'm like, whoa, no, that's not going to work. And she says, well, why does he want to be a doctor anyway? They don't make money. And I knew at that point I was on my own. I went back to school and got my master's, and then I became an independent certified college consultant and strategist through UC San Diego. And I've been doing this 17 years. So it just happened upon because of my firstborn.
Okay. So tell us more about being that certified. Yes. Yeah. Tell us about the study program and what you do.
So uniquely is I had been helping students like my son on top of my full-time career for many years and helping them to navigate, what do they want to do? What do they want to major in? What are their gifts and talents? What do they advocate for? Like, I just love teenagers. I've never met one I didn't love. And it was never meant to be a career. It was just a mom with a heart to help these kids. So what I found out is I speak their language, and becoming an independent certified strategist was just really a nice certification where it really helped stand out is going to school and taking psychology classes and working with the teenagers and being a safe place with no judgment zone, and just really leaning into what they want and listening to what they said. And so College Ready was started when my son got his high school diploma, and everybody wanted to know how he got into 7 top tier colleges and went to Harvard 4 years for free. That's when College Ready got started.
Oh, okay. All right. So tell us about the College Ready program.
So College Ready really focuses on 3 major things, and that's the academic fit, the social fit, and the financial fit. We're the only consultant firm in the world that focuses on all 3 equally. So like for myself, I knew that even if my son got into Harvard, I wouldn't be able to pay $78,000 a year.
Absolutely.
So that terrified me, but I didn't let it stop me. So because I had started 7 businesses, I went at it with a business plan. So instead of going at it with an emotional, my son wants to go to Harvard, I'm like, what does it take to get into Harvard? What is the kind of students they're looking for? How is he going to stand out? What is going to be his thing that sets him apart? And so I really built him as I would a business. And that's how College Ready Plan got started, is we start with what ultimately that child, that young teenager wants for their life, not just a brand name of a college. We want to think about, do you need an alumni group? Do you need networking? Do you need to go and get an MBA, a PhD? What do you need? And then build the plan for that. You can't just say, I want to go to Harvard and I'm just going to work hard. That's not going to get you in.
Yeah, even with a 4.0 average, it won't get you in.
You really have to have that something special for the Ivy League schools. And honestly, now even for some of the UC schools, it's become very competitive. And 1 in 3 families now hire somebody like myself to support them through this process. So it's not a nice to have, it's a need to have.
Yeah, exactly. So what are the various ways in which parents and students can work with the College Ready Plan? Because I know you have several different avenues.
We do. So I lost a bet to my firstborn. And when he crossed that Harvard stage, he said, Mom, where's the book? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, Mom, we made a bet. If I graduated from Harvard debt free, you would write a book to help other families. And so that is my first offer, is I'm going to give all of your listeners a free copy of my best-selling book, How to Send Your Student to College Without Losing Your Mind or Your Money. And that is just for being a listener. We start with free resources. We start with what can we help with that costs nothing. I'm part of a nonprofit called Society of Financial Awareness. And I do a lot of international and national public speaking to help families know that if you don't plan for college, you plan to pay full price. And even if you want to pay full price, you may not get in. So by not planning, you're actually harming your student and their future. And so we work so hard to get them through, elementary, junior high, and high school. And then some parents feel that they can just set them on their own now that they're 17 and 18, and they're so not ready to make that kind of decision. It would be like buying a home in many places in the world. I know people would not allow their 17-year-old to buy their home.
The first home.
A part of it.
Exactly. All right. So when should you start a plan for your student to go to college?
We tell families, think of college as you would a museum, an art gallery. When they're young, teach them the appreciation of an education and what it will give them for their future. That can be anytime, right? You go on vacation, you see a museum, you see Harvard. It's just a beautiful introduction. But really, when the best time to start is when that student's mature enough to talk about their future. I've had 3 students in my program in 7th grade because they were so mature and had so much drive that I was absolutely willing to support them. On average, people will start in the 9th or 10th grade. Old school thinking is they start in their junior or senior year. But, in the last 2 years, our students earned $23.3 million in scholarships on top of need base.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that can't be done. It's like planning for your retirement when you're 70. You have to have a plan and start to, formulate and strategize before it's too late.
All right. So you mentioned that you worked with a couple of really young students, like in 7th grade. But the student may not have an idea of what they want to do with themselves. So even if you start them early.
Yeah. So again, all maturity is different, but our very first step in the process is helping them identify their core values, their gifts, their talents, and their advocacy. Because by the time 7th and 8th grade hits, those are already instilled in them.
Okay.
They may adjust to the importance of them, change by that point. And so we don't start saying, what college do you want to do? What major do you want to do? What career? They have no idea, but we start to talk to them about serving their community and what they would like to do in order to do that. So we have a program in College Ready, and it's called empowereducation.world. And we have the students in our program this year have built 3 schools in Uganda virtually by doing the things they love. Some of them are building a STEM program. Some are teaching art lessons. So they're leaning in with those things they enjoy. And what can I do with the skills and the desire that I've been given? And we let them test it while they're serving another person, which gives them the clarity they need on, do I want to work with people or not? Do I want to sit at a desk or not? Those little things they're learning is the easy, gentle way to help them self-explore about what they're meant to do.
So it's a very soft lead. That's great. Because you are, you're helping them to discover what their skills are, right? And you're helping them to see, oh, yes, I do like to help other people. This is fun. I like the way I feel after I've done something like this. That's very good.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Is the College Ready plan available across the U.S.?
We're actually global. So we're in every state in the U.S., and we even have students outside of the U.S. My 4th daughter helped me to see the need for becoming an international brand. She was the 4th. My first went to Harvard, full ride. Second went to University of Alabama, full ride. First is an orthopedic surgeon. Second is a registered nurse. Third, he really wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And that's why I learned how important it was to first focus on them. But my fourth, she said, I don't want to do what they want to do. I want to do international business and I want to be an entrepreneur. And I want to get a dual degree in both the US and in Europe. And so I helped her navigate that. Studying in the Czech Republic in Prague. She's getting a dual credited US and European degree in 3 years for $27,000 in total.
Wow, that is wonderful. And she, she was very self-directed herself there. So that's wonderful for her.
We found out during her passion project, during her service project, that she really connected with European families. And she's like, I want to be around them. Her grandma is European. And I think that was a little piece of it. But her service project gave her lots of opportunity to explore that part. And it gave her that direction that she needed.
Okay. Let's talk. I had a question about the passion project. So
we approach it very uniquely. We're not just looking to check a box for college. Now, does college want students to do service? Absolutely. It's not just, sign up, show up and feed the homeless or tutor or, the easy thing. Colleges know it takes zero effort on the student. And so what is a passion with purpose project is figuring out what is that student passionate about? What do they want to see changed in the world? And then they need an adult to guide them step by step on how to do that. They have no idea how to build a business, let alone start one. And so we help students get really clear about what it is that they want and what they want to change. And then we guide them on creating an opportunity to change what they want to see changed. And why this is important, not only to help them figure out their gifts and talents and career and, all of the other brilliant stuff. Even as serving another human being, they learn to be empathetic. They learn to have communication skills. They do things that they normally wouldn't get a chance to do. And so colleges know that when you serve another, you stand up and you lead, you help, you become empathetic, you value diversity and equality, all the things that a great adult would love to have those skills. And so our passion project really starts with the student and we support them in navigating the process, which gives them a brilliant essay topic and a wonderful thing to talk about in an interview.
Wow, that's great. Now, how do you go about finding schools that are a good match for each child?
So we spend a lot of time on this because if a student has a core value of family and they spend a ton of time with their family, they may not want to leave the state that they're in. So that may be a very big piece. Or I have students who say, I want to get as far away from home as possible. And so, it really starts from listening and helping the student navigate what kind of degree, because if they want to go into be a doctor, there are schools that don't offer biology or, different areas, organic chemistry, or some of the things they may need. Not every college has every major, and most parents are quite shocked when I tell them that. So we first have to figure out from the family, what is an academic fit? Do they want to be the big fish in the small sea or the small fish in the big sea?
Right. Okay.
Do they want to fight for every A, or do they want to enjoy football games? We also want them to know for a social fit, do they need a religious element? Do they not want one? Do they want it to be conservative? Do they want it to be liberal? What do they want socially? Do they want to play a sport? Do they want to play D1, D2, D3, or just intercollegiate? Do they want to be in a sorority or fraternity? Do they want to be in the marching band? There's so many things we need to talk to them about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's having an open conversation, leading with, this is your future. What do you want? And having no judgment. Now, I will tell you, when a student says, I want to be a botanist, and I also want to drive a Ferrari, we have to help them understand that there's a little disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Botany may be a good hobby, or they may be a business major and open up a ton of nurseries to drive that Ferrari.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if
So
you're just going to be a botanist, it's not going to work out. If you
so we don't shoot down their idea.
Mm-hmm.
We help them to see, what can you do with that? And why do you want to be a botanist? Is it because this particular student said, I want to be an advocate for our environment? And so that's an important piece. It wasn't really botany and growing plants. It was just about the environment.
Okay. So he kind of didn't have the full handle on what he wanted. He was calling it one thing, but it was actually another.
Absolutely. Happens often.
Oh, well, they're learning, they're minds open.
For sure.
So tell us about traveling around the world to help students complete their standout strategy.
So a standout strategy doesn't have to be going around the world. Are you talking about me going around the world and doing it?
Well, just what the strategy is, basically.
So the first thing that we have to do when we build the strategy is we want the student to get clarity about who they are and what's important to them. Because if they're in a job that they don't feel valued, they're not going to want to be in that job for very long.
True enough.
We also need to help them understand what's important. Is money important, or is giving money to others important?
Mm-hmm.
Because, they may want to make a lot of money, but they may want to give it all away. So we first have to help them get clarity. Financial awareness is not something that's taught in high school. And if a family's not teaching it, or a teenager's not listening to what's being taught,
mm-hmm.
we have to help them understand. When I ask a student, I play a little game with them. It's called the millionaire game. And I said, if I give you $1 million cash and I give you 24 hours to spend it, or you have to give it all back to me, what would you do? And you would be surprised how many students would buy a yacht and a airplane and, multiple homes. There's zero concept of what $1 million will buy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beginning of where we have to start the strategy. Because if a student wants one thing and nothing else aligns to that, we have a huge problem. If a student wants to be a school teacher and they want to be a millionaire, they may need to learn how to invest or do something other than just teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really getting deeper into the financial awareness. I even ask students, do you ever want to move out of your parents' home? And they're like, oh, yes, yes, yes. And I say, well, do you know how much it's going to cost? And it goes dead silent. There's no idea of how much electricity or rent or any of that. And therefore, how do we build a strategy when they don't even have a concept of, I have students who I tell them, well, this career is going to make you $30,000 a year. And they're like, that's outstanding. I am pumped. That's so great. And I'm like, oh,
that's barely above poverty level. Yeah.
Right. And so they don't understand what that means. And so I help them to see, will a robot be doing their career in 5 years when they graduate? Nobody's helping these kids to navigate past 18. And we start with, what do you want to do when you're 18?
That's really wonderful, Shellee. And, you pointed out some gaps in our educational system, like the finances and just general life skills. How do you find an apartment? How do you have a budget? How do you make a budget? How do you manage that with all that you want to do? I mean, those skills are not being taught. And it's most unfortunate because students or young people have an unrealistic idea of how easy it is to get money and, become rich. Especially with the social media, there's so many of them that are making so much money in social media doing stupid things, or simple things that they think they can do that. And that's not something that's going to be available for everyone. So that whole realistic approach that you are offering them and guiding them through is really great.
Well, I enjoy it. My team enjoys it because when the students are done with our program, they want to stay on as mentors and mentor other students who, are starting in the program. So I know that they call us when they get accepted and they're like, we're going to Yale. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. And then I'm like, wait, I don't get to go.
Yes.
And it could be San Diego State. We got into San Diego State and I'm like, awesome. That will be so great. And so they really look to us as their partner, their mentor, their coach, their advocate. And sometimes they just need that safe place to be themselves. And that's a huge piece.
Yes. And you have, how many years have you worked with them if you're starting with them in 7th grade or even 9th grade? You've built a relationship with them over the years and you have learned about them, helped them grow, and helped them focus themselves. And so I can understand why they don't want to leave. That's been a good foundation for them and why they would want to come back if they're happy about the result that they had from being in the program. That's really wonderful, Shellee. So if listeners wanted to get in touch and learn more about the College Ready program, where can they go to find out more?
So there's 2 places. If your student is struggling with, I don't know what I want to do, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know where to start, I would encourage you to go to Future Now. So it's crfuturenow.com. That is the first step in which we can help that student. If they have some idea about what they want to do, where they want to go, I encourage you to go to www.collegereadyplan.com, because that's when we help the student really get clarity about how will they stand out. Okay. And that is an important thing for that student. If your listener has questions for me and they don't want to invest and they don't want to, go any further, I do have the ability for people just ask me questions, and you just go to ShelleeHoward.com, and it's SHELLEE Howard, HOWARD.com. And if you go on there, you will also get a free copy of my best-selling book. So we're all about leaning in and giving as much as we can.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I think this is a podcast that parents are truly going to appreciate and get excited about, and really help their students with their future. Because like you were the first to go to college in your family. I wasn't the first to go because I'm the youngest of my siblings, but I was the first to actually finish. And It makes a difference, So these days, some people have gone to college, some have not. And, especially if they've decided to have a career in the trades or whatever. So they don't have that experience. And even now, like you were saying earlier, it's changed so much. It's so competitive. So this is great to really give everybody a primer and some help and support to get their little kiddos and started and moving forward with their future for education. I really appreciate what you're doing. And we talked earlier, I was a teacher, so I really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Oh, it's been delightful to speak with you. I appreciate your time all of your great information that you shared. And like I said before, I really am so appreciative of what you are doing for young folks.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. And if anybody out there needs support, please follow us on social media. We give a ton of free information.
Wonderful. Okay. And I'll be sure to list the websites and our liner notes when we get this podcast up.
Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for listening today. Your support's a blessing. And if you enjoyed the podcast, give us a positive rating on Apple. Now, my podcasts are released every 2 weeks on the first and third Wednesdays. I need your support. Keep listening and share these career-changing, elevating podcasts with your friends, coworkers, and family. In addition to the major sites, you can find them on my website at www.insiderscareerclub.com. Do you need career help? I can help you get yourself on the right career track. Sign up for a career coaching call with me today. Now, before you go, let's speak victory over you. You've got a bright future. Good breaks are looking for you. The right people and divine connections are headed your way. And new doors are about to open for you. Believe it and stay open to it. Until next time, take care.